An oil well puts out 17.5 gallons per hour. How many minutes will it take to fill up 42 5-gallon barrels? Well, if we have 5 barrels that we want to fill, and we know that there are 42 gallons per 1 barrel, and then we know that there are 17.5 gallons per 1 hour, we can see that we also need to get to minutes. So in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. By examining the way we've set up these units, barrels has canceled, gallons has canceled, and hours has canceled. So when we multiply the numerators and divide by the denominators, we're going to be left with a number of minutes, which is what we're being asked for. So we can see that this will take 720 minutes. A giraffe can run at 35 miles per hour. A tiger can run at 17.111 yards per second. Determine which animal is faster and round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so if a giraffe is 35 miles per hour, in 1 hour we have 60 minutes. In 1 minute we have 60 seconds. So we now have the giraffe in seconds, just like the tiger. So looking at miles, in 1 mile, we have 5,280 feet, and we know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So now the giraffe is in yards, just like the tiger. Multiplying across the top and dividing by the product of the denominators, we get 17.1 repeating. So rounding to the nearest whole number for both the tiger and the giraffe, they both run at 17 miles per hour. Technically, if this number was not rounded and the tiger is just 17.111, then the giraffe is slightly faster, but it looks like on any given day they're at about an equal speed. How long in days would it take me to drive 5,200 kilometers if I went an average speed of 90 kilometers per hour? I'm given a hint in this problem to go ahead and start with the 5,200 kilometers and then find the hours and convert the hours to days. So if I have 5,200 kilometers, I can see that I'm going in 1 hour 90 kilometers. And notice I took that rate and flipped it upside down. Normally we say kilometers per hour, but since we were starting with kilometers, we needed kilometers to go on the bottom. So it's 1 hour per 90 kilometers. From there, we know that in one day, there are 24 hours. So we've gone from a speed of kilometers per hour or a distance of 5,200 kilometers. The kilometers are gone and the hours are gone, and we're simply left with days because the question was how many days will it take? So if you divide 5,200 by the product of 90 and 24, you get 2.4 days to travel that distance. You need to adapt a cookie recipe for a family reunion. One recipe makes 2 dozen cookies. So you're thinking of that as being a conversion where one recipe is equal to 2 dozen. And it calls for 2 tablespoons of baking powder in that one recipe. So you could also think of that as a conversion of 2 tablespoons per one recipe. How many cups of baking powder will you need to make 60 dozen cookies? And you're asked to report your answer to the nearest 1 cup. So let's start with the 60 dozen cookies. So I'm going to need something about dozens in the bottom. Well, I know that one recipe makes 2 dozen cookies. But I also know that I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder in one recipe. So that will take the recipes out, just like we've taken out the dozens. We know from our conversions that there are 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon and 16 tablespoons in 1 cup. Multiplying through, we see that we get 1 1/4 cups that will be needed.